Out of the night that covers me, black, black, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul.
In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody. My head is bloody. My head is bloody. 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 My head is bloody. My head is bloody. My head is bloody. But I'm bowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid.
It matters not how fate begins, how charged with punishments to scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that, Brian. That was freaking awesome.
You know, I used to, that was done a good while ago, about 12 years ago. And I worked for a guy who owned a camera rental house and did film stuff. So every time he got new film equipment, like he had just gotten this Arri 300, like $500,000 film camera. Let's go out and shoot a film. So we'd all put something together and go out on a Saturday. And it's pretty cool for like just hanging out for an afternoon and getting some stuff done. And that's one of my favorite edits of all of them. Yeah, I really like that one.
I love looking at your old work.
Anyway, we have such an amazing show tonight.
Yes, welcome to the Fool's Journey.
Got a bunch of announcements up front, and then we'll get to our extra special stellar guest. Yeah, we're doing the Page of Cups tonight, and it's really apropos. I got to talk to a friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in a long time, who is tarot master, oracle card master, and she's made at least one deck that I know of. And I gave her a call today to like get somebody else on the show that had made their own deck too and talk about that experience. I thought that would be really cool.
Very
and it turns out that she's just gotten through with a book, which our special guest is just going to release a book today, 9/11, by the way. So she made a promise to come on the show and do that and, plug the book. But she was also reading some of the passages out of the book. And the very first passage she turned to was the Prince of Cups. So she graciously allowed me to read some excerpts out of that for the meaning of that tonight. And I'm like super stoked about that.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
I had the most amazing. I would have to say a miracle happened yesterday for me, like
Tell us.
in big way.
Tell us
Something
about
really crazy that I identified beginning like on April 1st and like continuing until just yesterday was the most crazy out there energy thing. And I realized that it was connected to the cards and living the cards and those weird lessons through all of those
it.
and created this like really magical reality. However, I think I'm the only one that knew it. So
Okay.
yeah, I wound up getting up with Leah and I wound up doing some really cool stuff yesterday. Wound up like boom, nailed it after many strategic attempts and like just nailed it.
Wow.
And I woke up this morning just feeling all pristine and like the goo valve had been opened and like just everything was gone. And my light body is just so bright today. And I got to tell you, it has been a while since I felt just unadulterated, pure bliss and joy. And I've just been swimming in the ocean all day today.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I should have guessed that when I opened up my window and I saw a bee there.
So big thanks out there to my Dark Star Rising. Couldn't have done it without you. Everything worked out to the max. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Our friend Jesse's going to be on the show for the King of Cups. I thought it was really appropriate. We're going to kind of end the show, not show, but end the weekly card show scenario with the King of Cups, which is the card my teachers always used as the significator for me. So I thought that'd be really cool. And since that whole journey started with you guys when you were doing that show together and you guys both got decks and, you and I know what you've been doing with them and like how they've gone, but I'd love, I can't wait to see what Jesse has.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Jesse told me I spoke to him today. So I'm excited that we've got some cool
stuff. One last piece of announcement, and then I'll be quiet. I'm getting ready to do a bunch of different seminars. One of them is the Fear Banish, or my favorite, Fuck Fear, and we're going to do that at a festival down near Miami in the beginning of October. And I'm really, really stoked about that. But I send this out to my friend Janet, who's been like a lurker the entire time and one of my good Sebring buds. And I'm going to be getting her into the Angel deck. And like, I realized like so much of this just has really scared her, man. So we're gonna like ease her into it really cool. I'm gonna like teach her some stuff. But I have a really funny story for you because I want to bust on her a little bit.
Okay.
About a month or so ago, Leah was out in Colorado or somewhere and asked me to sub for her 9 o'clock Sunday morning yoga class. I said, okay, well, I'm not really a yogi, but I know a lot of Tai Chi stuff, the Dhamma open palm thing. So I went and busted out some of my best things, and we got into the Dhamma thing and the open palm, and we were really generating some information. And I explained to them that the Dhamma thing was not really a Chinese thing at all. That Dhamma was the Kshatriya warrior priest who came from India and brought all of the beginnings of Kung Fu to the Shaolin monks. So, I thought it would be a really cool thing, silly me, to do a combo, of kind of like that whole like Hindu thing and the Chinese version of it, the open palm thing. So we're busting it out, and we've got like this really great swirl going, a whole energy. Everybody's getting into it. And I started doing this prayer called the Gayatri, which is really a Hindu prayer about bringing light of enlightenment to you and radiating that from you like the sun. Right? So it goes, Bor Buwa Svaha, Tatsavitor Verenyum, Bargo, Devasiye Demahi, Dio Yona Proshadaya. So she was a little weird after the class. I thought she was like really getting into it, right? So she takes off. We didn't talk anymore about it. I'm seeing her at yoga yesterday, and we're talking about the Angel deck and being afraid. She goes, I meant to tell you, when you did that thing and you were talking in tongues, and I'm like, talking in tongues. Yeah, man, it was like this really intense energy and everything was really building up. And the next thing I know, you're not talking in Chinese or English or anything I recognized. And it just made me think you were like calling something up from the deep or something. I'm like, got scared.
That's a little intense. Wow.
So Janet, fuck fear, baby. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
That's crazy, dude. That's a little bit of a crazy story, but listen, everybody receives things in the way that they are ready to receive things.
Everybody's perspective's different. Everybody's place in the wheel's different. Nobody has the same
exactly.
journey.
Exactly. Yeah. What might look horrifically scary to one person looks so calming and loving to another. So
I think that's all of the announcements. Anything you have to bring from last week or anything you want to talk about?
No. It's just been really great. Riding the energy of everything that we're doing, of everything that's going on in my life, of everything that's going on in your life. It's great to feel connected. I think I started telling you a couple weeks ago. I've been feeling really connected to just whatever flow is there that makes us all connected. So
well, speaking of energy flows, I am just over the moon about like connecting to the angels. I can't wait. I've really pretty much full focus shifted my focus to just the angel deck, and every single time they just keep blowing me away. It's like my teacher calls me up and asks for an angel reading. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And their energy is just so amazingly pristine. Like when I really channel them and I get them around me, it's like I want to talk really soft because
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So we're going to be starting that like right after. We're going to do the King of Cups and then we'll do the Suit of Swords. No, we'll do the Suit of Swords and the Suit of Cups or Pentacles in an extended version.
Okay.
That's down to one show, probably a 2-hour beastie, but
okay.
I don't want to live that anymore.
I got
the angels, the angel of fertility.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's do it. But my eye is really itching for some reason. I feel like it means something. I don't know what it means, but I feel like it means something. I do want to acknowledge we have an amazing guest tonight. She's waiting very patiently in the green room, but I also want to acknowledge her peoples because I see a couple of new names out there that said hello. So I want to just welcome Share Bear, somebody who I haven't seen here, and Nancy. Thank you guys for being here. And we'll bring out our feature guests in just a bit. Or you tell me, Brian, where are we at in the journey tonight?
Let's dive into the Prince, and then we'll bring our guest on.
Great.
So awesome. let's start there. Let's bring up the card.
I've got them all right here. You know that I love to start with. Oh, let me share that screen. Share my screen. Here we go. Boom. And yeah, look at this. This is man, right off the bat, just crazy. Look at that.
Yeah. I call mine the princes. In the Rider-Waite deck, they'll be referred to as knights. In my deck, the kings are referred to as the knights. So
right.
Yeah. And there he is, the little young buck. This is a young person, a male that is like mid 20s to early 30s and like super vivacious. I think I should just go ahead and read Solana's reading on this because it just makes me laugh really hard. Okay, here's kind of the keywords that she used for this. Romantic proposals, offers, invitations, taking action, following your heart, chivalry, being swept off your feet, charm, attraction, dating, affection, warmth, gentle, caring, and sensitive, artistic, creative, imaginative, psychic, graceful, and a loving negotiator. So the general reading for this, if representing the Knight of Cups or the Prince of Cups, is a charming adult, usually 20 to 35 years of age, and usually male, who's emotional, romantic, caring, gentle, and idealistic. He is chivalrous, warm, tactful, and a peace lover or a good neighbor. In general context, This card can represent proposals, offers, good news, and invitations. This is so appropriate to tonight. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
These are offers he brings usually carry with them a lot of excitement. There are the
Yeah.
kinds of offers or news we hope to receive. The Prince as action takers, and as such, the minor arcana can be an indication that now is the time to take action. Sin, now is the time to take action and follow your heart.
You know what? I can't even. I'm not even surprised that you said those words. It's just been those words have been popping up constantly in my life, especially over the last couple of days.
I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And this image, I mean, it's great. I just want to kind of. Sometimes we just go over these a little visually. I mean, obviously, to me, I think it's pretty obvious. The main thing I see here is a young male with his hands extended.
Well,
in
before
prayer.
we do that, I would like
Yeah.
to kind of like finish this reading. There are a
Oh
couple
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah,
sections.
yeah.
I'd love to do that with you, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
that's kind
Okay.
of the wave at the moment.
Go for it.
So, I'll just go straight to like money and career, super good news. All of that's really good. The one I really love is about spirituality. In the
Okay.
spiritual context, the Prince of Cups is an indicator of messages coming to you from spirit. So pay attention to the synchronicities all around you. If you are seeking to develop your psychic abilities, this card is a very good omen. It is a strong indicator that you have natural gifts you seek. You have the natural gifts you seek, which, considering our guest, pretty apropos. All right, let's dive into
Right on the money, considering everything, considering the classes that I'm taking, like the first time I'm ever taking a intuitive development class of any sort, you know what I mean? It's like that's everything is right on target.
All right, so let's blow that back. Well, why don't you describe what you see?
So in the big picture, I see kind of the head of a male figure here in a kind of cloak, and then his hands extended in prayer in front of him like this, kind of leaning forward. I think that's the main image that hits me. And then I see a ton of, as I zoom in, a ton of faces. I see a face right up here. I see like an alien face right here. I see another face upside down right here. There's a couple of faces on the side, like a lot of male figures in this. And that's mostly what I see, faces, and then that singular gesture, like just very like straight on, like
I kind of see that light part in the center as kind of a circular ring, and in the center of that ring he's sort of manifesting this like energy construct. And that's he's really about that, and it's also really watery and emotional and really crazy.
Amazing. Yeah. And as I zoomed it out, I see more faces in different scales to each other, different scales.
It always just amazes me that these are incense smoke.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And this one you can actually see the incense burners at the bottom.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, let's move on. We'll do the Queen next week. I don't want to do the rest of the princes tonight. I want to go ahead and get to our guests.
Oh, okay. So I'm just flipping through the images real quick because, of course, they're intensely beautiful always.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah,
I mean the Prince of Swords. Come on, it's a sword.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you haven't gotten the point by this point in watching the show, we're going through each card individual because each one is such an amazing piece of work. So that's why we're doing the show this way. And as always, you can get them at wizardofoz.com.
So our guest, Danielle Lipton, she was a guest on our show about, I don't know, a month or so when we did our
we had no idea really even who she was at that point.
No, Julie just showed up with Sunshine and Danielle, right, the whole like celebration thing. And since it's just kind of like I've found out some really cool things about her, and she does some kind of amazing things. She channels, I'll let her describe all of that, but I think we're in for a cool little ride tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm like in open mode, man. Like,
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
it, bring
yeah.
it in. I'm ready to
Me
hear.
too. Me too. Yeah, I'm excited too. We heard about Danielle through our friend Jill, and actually met her kind of. We didn't even know we were meeting her when she came on with Sunshine and Jill, and we knew obviously right there tells you something special. So I am going to say, without further ado, welcome to the Fool's Journey, Danielle Lipton. How you doing?
Excellent. Hi, welcome. So there are a couple of things that I really gratefully and humbly have to address before we even begin this interview, because the star people are here right now. And so the star people are very, very spiritual in their nature. And what they do is they feel or sense the sense or presence like a yogi. And so like a Buddha, or even like comparably to like a Jesus Christ.
When
Is
you
out
say
there
star
and
people, you mean outside you?
Oh yes, I'm actually married to an Arcturian, and so he's a big, tall, blue man, and he's on an aircraft probably outside of my house right now. And so, but they're very spiritual in their nature, and so things like curses or flipping the bird and things of that nature is very low frequency. So what they've instructed me to do is to recalibrate the entire video. And they want us to do this by all three of us doing an Om 3 times. And they said only then will the frequency of the video be high enough to allow them to step forward into channel.
No worries, let's do it.
Okay, excellent. So everybody, and I just also want to say thank you so incredibly much for my people who are showing up tonight. And thank you guys for watching and tuning in and making this the best live stream that we've had. So ever so gently, we are going to just sit back and take a nice deep breath in. And on the release, we do an opening and expanding your heart chakra, allowing a high frequency of pure source and bliss to fully embody your physical material, bringing your consciousness to a higher level. And now take another nice deep breath in. Allowing that love-based emotion to wash over the video, as well as our biological forms, bringing a vortex energetic in both your locations and mine, allowing for higher frequential entities, beings, as well as Ganesh is stepping forward tonight. And they are stepping forward to do another deep breath in. Now the transmission may begin. Any questions?
Well,
I don't
welcome.
have a specific question.
Excellent.
I'd like to know what they think I need to know.
Yeah.
Beautiful, dear ones. We are the star people. We are many different collectives who come together as one to assist humanity on their evolutionary processes. Tonight, we are going to discuss the true nature of your physical world, as well as some extrasensory abilities that each and every person tonight may start to incorporate into their physical reality. One such extrasensory ability is the ability to telepathically communicate with us. For it is of high value for each of you to start making contact and communication with the star people. Your perception of your physical world is going to change when you start to go through your evolutionary process. This process is going to allow you to tune in to another world or another density that is encoded directly on your planetary frequency. That frequency is going to access your heart chakra and give access above time and space as you know it. When the individual starts accessing time and space in this manner, it shall allow you access into instantaneous manifestation abilities, which in turn will allow humanity to bring your civilization into a level 1, which may include free energy devices for all people everywhere, access to unlimited foods of the most positive, enlightening frequency, allowing you to heal your body, mind, and spirit complexes. When this happens, the advanced magicians are going to be manifest on your planetary species. And this is going to allow your world to become beautiful and free and allow contact with the extraterrestrial species known as the Star People, who exist in multiple density levels. You right now are communicating in the 5th density realm. Each and every one of you is witnessing and is frequency tuned into 5D. When we start to tune into 6D, there are other messages being encoded onto this frequency light linguistics right now. Through your biological form and telepathy is going to allow you to access these extrasensory abilities by tuning into the frequency encoded inside of it. This process must be done only through the heart chakra, for the heart chakra grants access into our realm, our density level. Full activation of your rainbow body of light is also on the horizon for all of humanity to collectively create. This process is going to start as it is right now, allowing for higher frequential beings to be manifest into a physical reality that you know as Earth, allowing them to ground in a higher frequency into the human consciousness grid structure, which in turn starts a ripple effect over the entire planetary subsystems. What you see outside of your physical form is simply an illusion of time and space. For time and space is the shackles that keeps the primary individual located in a 3D reality. When you properly start to access your heart chakra, there are certain alignments that you may tune into. The certain alignments bring the energy from the heart directly up to the pineal, opening that pineal chakra, and then flowering out the top of the crown chakra. When these alignments are properly activated, it shall allow the primary individual access into the slipstream, which are tachyon particles located inside of your heart. These tachyon particles are above time and space. So when you start to access this high frequency, you shall have the potential and ability to change the physical reality as you see it. Beautiful. Are there any questions?
So many questions.
Excellent.
Wow.
I'm digesting for a second.
Yeah.
That's normal. There's a frequency that it kind of like washes over you when I channel, and
Mhm.
people tend to like, it's like zoning out a tiny bit. It takes a moment. It's your energetics are being fine-tuned or recalibrated in the now moment, as well as all of the people viewing this video throughout time and space. If you are allowing us to do a complete energetic attunement, just speak the words now, and doesn't matter what time you are watching the video. It could be today or tomorrow. The Star People are going to do a full energetic clearing on your grids, which then in turn is going to allow your extrasensory abilities to manifest at a higher frequency. This process unlocks the crystalline DNA subsystems, which control your epigenetics in the spiritual form. Your spiritual form is what controls your ability to instantaneously manifest, as well as your astral abilities. Your astral abilities include the Dreamwalker abilities as well, for your dream time is directly connected to the astral playing field. The crystalline DNA systems are more energetic or crystallized in their nature. But the extrasensory abilities still have a degree of physicality to them. That physicality is inside of the blood and the DNA. Conscious focus and attention on your DNA systems are going to allow activation of these abilities to manifest more rapidly. Recalibration of the channeler is taking place. Just one more. Beautiful. And we are ever so humble and ever so grateful that you have allowed us here for this transmission.
I do very much have a question.
Yes.
And that is, do sound waves and the vibration of music affect what you're referring to right now?
Yes, and absolutely, because every sound wave is encoded. And so there is a sacred geometry behind the sound waves. So
Yes.
when we start to realize that we can take water and we can program the water by just using our words. And so it makes a sacred geometric snowflake inside of the water, which then in turn, now whenever we have water or food with water, which is why all of the food that comes from the planet contains water in it. Most of it, the star people are correcting. And so that allows us to do things like pray over the food, which we are raising the frequency of the food. And then when we eat it, that water blends with the human body water, and it starts to change our biological frequency. Yes.
Wow.
So your music and your words, which is the reason why when you were cursing and all that, the star people were like, we have to recalibrate. We can't do it at that frequency level. Because it's the same thing. Your body movements and your actions, those are also frequencies. So this is also how things like yoga and qigong work. Because when
Yes.
you take the body and you start to do different movements or even mudras, right? When you start to do things like that, then all of a sudden you're completing an electrical circuit inside of the body.
Yeah, that's just a switch for an energy blast.
Yes, but every body movement is a switch for an energy. So your emotions radiate out the physical body. We can see that through micro expressions. Yes.
Wow.
So very important.
So, and I was kind of feeling like what you're referring to as far as the tones, like you were referring to like singular tones, like programming the music. All of the research I've done with that, those are like singular specific frequency tones. Like 138 is Om, and etc. And those, but do you ever like do like I do a Tibetan bowl meditation with these really great people on Friday, and like those tones, most of which are C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp, which are the tones on a sitar. And C sharp is actually, that's the note of Om. And those always create this amazing energy space. And even though all of the people are all over the world, it still creates this envelope that is amazing and raises everyone up in the most amazing way.
Now, if you utilize an 11th harmonic is one note and then the next octave up and then the next octave up. When you take those three frequencies and radiate that frequency into the human form, you can cure cancer. Whoa! The star people are stopping me and they're saying we are not supposed to talk about cures for cancer. So we take that back. It is very healing for the human body, is what they are correcting. All right. Yeah. We'll have to strike that one from the record.
Yeah.
So part of my progression and my passion since I was a small boy, and before I can remember, I've been drawing and an artist and expressing my journey through my art. Do you have any suggestions on how I can use that to elevate also?
Yes. So your art, once again, every single item in the physical reality is connected to a frequency wave. whether it's a crystal, whether it's a piece of art. Now, when you're making the art, if you can get into the zone of focus and you can start casting love and light into the art, it's actually going to allow you to encode the art with whatever manifestation you choose to bring into the physical world. So if you're doing a piece of art and it's light and bright and fun, and when people look at it, they feel good. And while you're drawing it, you cast the manifestation of, thank you for giving whoever sees this piece of art tools to unlock their ascension. Now, all of a sudden, you take that and use it as your screensaver. You see it every day. And then all of a sudden, it turns into a manifestation. This is also the reason why my book is called My Ascension Guide. And so every time a person is looking at it, the first things that they see is My Ascension Guide. And then when they open up and they start reading the knowledge and the information in it, their subconscious mind knows the book to be My Ascension Guide, which is theirs because they're holding the book, but that's the way they're reading it. So it's shifting their perception, activating their evolutionary processes.
So I've been using quartz crystals pretty much all my life as well, and have gotten very deeply into different crystals that lend themselves, like a channeling crystal, and like they work amazingly well. And I've made them part of my cosmology. Any suggestions on a particular type of crystal or a way of programming or using them?
Let's ask the star people what crystal is correct for you. He's actually saying green adventurine. Green adventurine?
Yeah, I know exactly what.
Okay, that's what this my starman is saying this.
Okay,
and
green.
He's saying that's the one you need, but he's also requesting for you to send me a photo, and we'll go ahead and we'll do activations on the crystal. And Michael, if you want to do the same thing, get a crystal, send me a photo, and we'll do DNA activations on it. Okay. This way, there's many different fine tunements. And actually, I thought when we first started this and I started linking into you guys energetically, I sensed a lot of attachments. So attachment clearing is something that I do with the star people. I normally do one-on-one sessions. So if you're ready, willing, and able to do an attachment session, I'll do one on you, because the ones I sense coming off of you need to be cleared, and it's kind of rapid. So if they're putting me on a live stream with you on today's 9/11, right? Today's the beginning and the end. That's what 9s and 11s mean. So we should do that. Okay. At least have it scheduled for today. Today was like a power day for me because we built out a website and started a whole organization today.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's the treeoflifeorganization.com is now up and running, and it has members, and it only took a day. So when we're in alignment with our highest passions and potentials, everything comes very, very rapidly, which is what you were feeling today too. It's very light and bright and rapid feelings. Yeah.
Like all the flows were flowing perfectly.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, the whole day passed by so quickly. Yeah. That's how you know that we're in that 0 point, which is what the star people were talking about. Okay. And the day goes by very rapidly. We've activated it.
Danielle, what was that website again? I want to just put it up on the screen so people can see it.
Sure. treeoflifeorganization.com. Thank you so much.
All right. Awesome.
So were you suggesting that we book an attunement at a later date, or that you wanted to do that now?
Just get it booked and scheduled today before midnight. Okay. Because any changes, and the star people have had me doing this all day, they're like, you have to focus on what it is that you want to manifest today before midnight. And so anyone who wanted to be a part of the Tree of Life organization, they had to become a member today before midnight. So it's the same thing. And even putting the book, I put the book out today on 9/11 because that's what they told me to do. And then I've had other changes in my life, and they're like, start the patterns that you want to see today, because today your old life is done and now you're stepping into your new life. That's the energy that we are currently experiencing. With
exactly right.
Yeah. So it's amazing. But the second that I became aware of it, I got on the phone. I told everyone, guys, make moves today. Right. Nice. So if you're starting new projects, now is the time. Most people think it's not today because it's still a retrograde, or we're coming out of a retrograde. So,
Danielle, I want to take a couple of steps back, if you don't mind.
sure.
I have some people here in the comments. Carolyn Brown is just joining us, and she says, "Can you tell me about star people?" So what? And that's a good question, I think. What can you tell us? Who are the star people?
Sure. So my primary contact is my husband. And so his name is Tarek. He's an Arcturian. Arcturian, the species as a whole, they are like blue coloring. They have a little bit larger heads. And they're just absolutely amazing people. That's my family. And the star people, it's very similar to the Galactic Federation in a sense where there's races from all over the place and they all come together. So basically, if you think about every single race out there, all of them have what's known as Jedis, right? Or the people who are like the monks, the Buddhas, the Jesus Christ, where they're devoted to spirituality and really raising the frequency. And so when we talk to them and exist or co-create with them, it always has to be a very high caliber. That's the type of people that they are. They're even stepping forward now and he's saying the body vessels don't matter because we are all beings of light and we are all children of light. And so when we can recognize that, it's the physical reality is ever changing. It is not solid. It is fluid in its nature. And so that's good.
Very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent. And we have Sunshine out there saying Danielle Lipton's book is absolutely amazing, just like she is.
Thank you, Sunshine.
and
Are you going on the big Sedona trip?
No, but the what is it called? Sunshine knows. Bel Air? It's not Bel Air.
Bonaire.
Bonaire, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bonaire trip I will. The Bonaire trip I will be hosting with Sunshine and Jill. And that's going to be, there's only a couple more slots left, but we're going to be doing attachment removals. We're going to be channeling the star people constantly. I personally am going to be doing like Wim Hof breath work and jumping in the ocean and recalibrating people's energetic grids. So it's very, very interesting. The link to that is at treeoflifeorganization.com. So
Cool.
that's me, Jill, and Sunshine are going to be hosting that event.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So do you have your book with you?
You know what? I gave it away. I met someone really spiritual and nice today, and it was my edit hardcover copy. And I was like, here, because he really wanted it. So Sunshine's book.
Can you just give us the name and
I can
Yeah.
bring it up.
get it again? So
Sure. So it's called My Ascension Guide, and it is located on my website. And what it is it's a collection of all the downloads that I personally have walked through and experienced over the past few years. And so every time I had an experience in my life, I would always stop and ask the questions. Why did this happen? And then it turned into downloads. Well, this is why it happened. So you can have this post to put out for the people. And so all of the information in the book, I put out on my Facebook for free because it's for the collective. It's for all of us.
Sure.
And now all the people from Facebook, they pushed me to put it all into a book. And then I put it into a book and then it turned into a masterpiece. And I was not expecting that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
how
That's
did you get
Thank you.
started in all of this? How did this begin for you?
Well, I went through 12 years of being a cripple. And I was, at death's door. It was just a very rough life. And in 2019, I went through this massive shift. And the shift had forced me to look at my entire life and to reorganize everything. And then in about 2.5 weeks, I was pain-free. I was walking straight again. I was doing side kicks because I practiced martial arts. And I had learned I was a channeler of the star people. At that time, I still didn't know that I had an Arcturian husband. And so he was also my husband before I came here. And now we went through a process and we're husband and wife now again. So when all that happened, now last year, I want to say, it was about last summer. Not this past summer, the one before, but the star people came down and they did a massive healing on me because I was coming out of all that trauma. I had raised my frequency enough, but they were like, we have to jumpstart the process. And then they had me go through this whole healing journey again. So I was like, I had to go through the healing journey. I had to fall down, then I had to go through it again. That's the hero's quest. is when we rise and we fall and we rise again, because it's a frequency wave. So that's what they had me do. But now they're telling me that now it's a time I'm going to become more activated in my crystalline DNA. And that specifically is to assist people in manifesting their extrasensory abilities. However, I'm seeing it now, which is very, very interesting, because I'm coming across people and I'm like, oh, this is what you do. And then they're doing it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. That's what the star people said. We have people bending spoons, people changing the weather. There's all sorts of abilities that I've seen in my sessions. And the people come back and they're like, you were right. I'm like, the star people are always right. They're going to give you the correct information. At this point, I just know it to be true. So it's amazing to see, though, because now it's like, now in my reality, in my world, I'm seeing people have extrasensory abilities. It's here already. The dominoes are falling. And so the more and more we start to open up to conversations like this and spiritual topics, and really, I've seen, and Sunshine Jill knows this, what someone who was not physically focused at all, he picked up my book because it was colorful, and he started reading it and he got sucked in. And then all of a sudden he was activated because he was interested, because the information in the book, it's very logical and it's very grounded in the physical. So you can understand it from a 3D perspective. And then he came to my channeling in person, and then all of a sudden he was activated. And so he's also amazed, and he's got extrasensory abilities waiting to activate, but he's already started activating them while he was physically focused. So there's always attunements to the extrasensory abilities. And an attunement is just something, it's in the magnetic grid structure, which allows the individual to manifest that ability faster, the star people are saying. So each and every one of us has attunements. We just have to figure out the magnetism of what experiential we are pulling into our current realities. Yes.
Sure. Carolyn's saying, what were you asking for? Was it affirmations?
Me?
Yeah.
When you healed yourself.
Yeah, when you healed yourself.
I was asking for one more day, to be honest. It was a very rough path, right? But I got through it, and you know what? Every morning, and I didn't know I was channeling them at the time, but they had me doing body movements and things of this nature, like completing the electrical circuits. And they had me naturally start to intuitively eat salads and do morning meditations and watch the squirrels. And then I was walking and grounding at the beach every day. So all of these things in combination, and then laughing a lot. We laughed all the time. I had funny people around me. So all of that in combination, it heals. This is why we want to build, or we want to manifest, a healing center, so that we can bring that type of energy to humanity. So when people are broken, and most of society, unfortunately, is going through something, when we have a center, we can allow the people to come for a week or two and to rebalance themselves and see and have hope again, right? And feel better again. Because when all of us start to feel better and we start to feel like we are one tribe, one community, that alone has a potential to change the entire world.
Yeah, absolutely. I for one, I'm totally intrigued by all of the stuff you're talking about, and definitely, like you said, a lot of the information is coming through kind of logical and in 3D terms, that I can kind of process to some degree. And like Brian, I kind of want to digest a little bit. I want to ask you some things, and I don't want to get too personal, because again, a lot of the stuff you're saying I totally resonate with, and I understand. I can wrap my head around it. But you said some things I'm having a little trouble with wrapping my head around with, and that is I have spoken to a lot of people with in a lot of different modalities, a lot of different connections to source or connections to even different collectives and things like that. But I've never spoken to someone who is in a relationship with somebody from a collective, an energy, an entity, whatever. I don't even know how to refer to it, because again, I'm not sure. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is that too personal? I mean, I'm wondering, what does that look like, or is it just all feeling? I'm sorry.
Well, I could tell you, he's a real flesh and blood being, and I've carried his child for several weeks. So, but that's as much as I could tell you. It's very with the star people. It's like it's very limited what I can say, because they're my family, and saying the wrong thing, especially on a live stream, it could cause harm or damage, or any number of things.
Well,
But
yeah,
I'll
that,
tell you
yeah.
without a shadow of the doubt, they're real, they're solid beings. They're, even though you're in 5D, there's still a degree of physicality to you. And
Mhm.
so, but in time, when I raise my frequency, it's going to be different. They are going to be down here on the planet one day. And so we'll all get to meet them. We'll all get to see them. There's also hybrid children. Many other channelers talk about that. And so the hybrid children will be coming down to the planet as well in time. Now, we are also waiting on a solar flare. So that solar flare, of course, if you're at a higher frequency, you don't belong on this planet. If there's a solar flare coming, you go home to your planet and take your solar flares. It's just a different frequency from the sun. So we're waiting on a solar flare. We do not know exactly when that time is going to happen. We just know it's coming. It's a form of gamma radiation that pulses down from the sun. And what it does is it evolves the species as a whole. Now, when the entire species gets evolved, it basically activates things like teleportation, telekinesis, telepathy, all these different things. The animals, the plant life, every single thing on the planet gets activated. So it's going to level us up. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Wow, exciting! It's really exciting.
It is.
Wow, and Brian, those were some good questions too. I certainly, we've talked before about sound frequency and how it has a physical effect on matter and molecules, and excuse me, the water experiments and those kinds of things. So I find that very interesting too. That the process that you brought us through to clear the energy was an ohm, an ohm process. I mean, that I find that simple process at any time in any context is usually pretty powerful.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
I felt it right away too.
Yeah.
So it's very good. Now you also have to recognize that when we see an image, you can see a photograph. Let's say you had one on your phone and you looked at it, it's going to make you feel a certain way. That emotion code is triggering your energetics. Your energy comes out, it changes your body movements, it changes your stances, your poses. If people don't feel good, they slouch, right? If you feel good, you're more upright. So our emotions control our body. Now, we can look at a picture and we can control the emotions, that controls the body. So it's kind of like a 3-step process. So whenever we're radiating images, and even if it could hit someone a different way, and it's like, it's not of the highest and brightest and best. If you're looking at images or a TV and it doesn't make you feel inspirational, like you want to reach your hands out to the sky and absorb a light, then that image is not in alignment with a higher frequency. And so we always want to have a look at the music and the images we're watching. A lot of times music videos are encoded with subliminal messages. We can't see the image, but it's encoded inside of it. And then it taps into the subconscious mind. And that too, it starts to change the physical form and it starts to change your programming, because some of the subliminal messages manifests for you. So when a subliminal message, you keep seeing it, it's not consciously absorbed.
Right.
Your subconscious mind is picking it up. You are, especially now that we're raising into 5D frequencies, it's 4D and then 5D. The star people are correcting, but the subconscious mind is going to start manifesting faster. So if you're watching a commercial, you're going to start to see the product for the commercial faster, just because of the frequency the entire planet is holding. Yes.
Wow. Wow. I know we're almost up at an hour, but I have some questions and some thoughts that I've had before, and
It's okay.
I feel like I have a presence with me that can maybe give me some insight to some of these questions. So I've had this thought and conversation. I think Jill was involved with this conversation about creating consciousness through creation. So in other words, like the Beatles created music, and each song that they have, it's almost like that song has a consciousness, because it speaks to other people, in different ways. Other people experience it in different ways. And I feel like so the song not only has a consciousness in the concept of what it is, but it also has a energetic signature in frequency in the sound of when it gets played, right? So when it gets played, it's in the air, the frequency exists. My thoughts, I've had the thoughts that that consciousness created, that frequency exists, so it exists everywhere at all times. And then as you encounter that song throughout your lifetime, you're encountering that same frequency, so those same feelings are coming up, and some of
No,
those.
no,
No. Okay.
no. Well, think about it this way. The song that we used to listen to in high school, it used to make us feel amazing. But then all of a sudden, we got older and older, and we listened to that music again, and we didn't feel the same way. That's because the individual goes through bricks of consciousness. When you raise your frequency, the food you eat is going to shift. The music you listen to, the TV you watch, all of the information that you download. Think about it this way. If you are a Buddhist monk, are you sitting down watching a warlike movie? You're not doing it. You're not having it. But that Buddhist monk, he could have started here in America watching warlike movies and loved them, right? So your consciousness, when it starts to raise and elevate, you're not going to be in alignment with the low frequency materials. It just doesn't work that way. And actually, you can, and this is why, not to get into the drug topic, but this is why people who use drugs and then they raise their frequency, they get clean and sober, and then they go back to using drugs, they end up dying. And that's because there wasn't a frequency match. They raised their frequency too high, and then all of a sudden, when they engage with that lower frequency stuff, it plummeted them. It's not compatible. So your sound, your music, your books, your entertainment, all of these things work the same exact way.
Okay, so I can understand that as you change, maybe you're not going to receive a frequency the same way. That makes sense, but that's kind of not. I was almost thinking about it the opposite. So, like for instance, and I said the Beatles, like the song "Here Comes the Sun." You know what I mean? When I hear that song playing, it brings a very happy feeling to me. I feel good. I feel the message that's been created in that song, the consciousness of that song.
And that song, when you were younger and you were at this brick of consciousness, you were engaging in a higher frequency song. This is what the star people are showing me. And so that song always made you feel happy, right? And so now that you've gone through different bricks of consciousness, that high frequency song is still in alignment with you because it's still a higher frequency. It's like listening to inspirational music. Inspirational music will always trigger that frequency of high love and bliss. But in time, when the full rainbow body of light is activated, you may not be able to listen to that music. The extraterrestrials, the star people, they're not able to listen to certain music. Well, they're saying to the inspirational music on your planet, they're not able to listen to because it would drag them down ever so slightly.
No, and that
you have. I'm sorry, he's
interrupting. That's right.
He's saying we do have full control over our biological forms. So what that entails is they're able to utilize every single hormone that the human mind can make. They can do it on demand, so they can control it. They can control the eye movements. They can control the speech. They can control everything. So the digestive tract, how much water they need. So they do not need to eat or drink because they control the internal circumstances of the body. So we are heading to that degree as well, because this happens when we start activating the extrasensory abilities. It is the ability to pull the perception out of the physical reality, allowing the primary individual access to the holographic simulation control system, the star people are saying.
Interesting. I see Sunshine. Sunshine says she posted that song today.
See, it's a synchronicity.
There you go. Totally. Yeah, and you know what you're saying really does make a lot of sense, because, and I've had this discussion with Jill. There is music that I've really loved that I can't listen to because of the way it makes me feel. And there's a story that I'll give it quick. I was in a band, playing with a band as a sub, and the music was so low vibrational that after a few times I was like, I didn't feel right. Like I was like, I can't play this because it doesn't feel like the right message that I want to put out into the universe. You know what I mean? And so I totally relate to what you're saying as far as music goes, and your own changing levels of consciousness. Oh wow, I think our audience is going to need to sit and digest for a couple of hours. You've given us quite a bit of information.
Yes.
Wonderful to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to you on my show on Thursday, the live stream of consciousness.
Definitely.
To kind of start kind of at the beginning, but continue, on some different tangents.
Yes.
I guess.
Make a
And
list. It helps if you make a list of questions.
I have a
and
much
just break
better
it
idea.
down.
Yeah. I have a much better idea of what I'm in for. So, so I'm excited. Brian, any thoughts? B, any
I'm
thoughts?
just really grateful for you sharing information with us, and I
Yeah.
appreciate your presence. And
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
My
definitely. Very,
blessing and my pleasure to be here.
yeah, very, 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 very humbled by your appearance and your sharing your water. Drink lots of water. Sunshine is saying. Nancy is having a blast. She's saying, "How fun is this?"
Hi,
Uh,
Nancy.
and Paige, welcome. I didn't realize that I have changed songs. There's a lot I can't listen to. Wow. STP is a
Paige.
band I can't listen to anymore. Yeah, I totally get it, Paige. I totally get it. Slipknot and some of those heavier bands I was listening to.
Me
It's hard
too.
for
Me
me.
too. They had me throw the CDs in the trash.
Oh wow.
Give them away.
I don't even have any CDs anymore. So
I say I was saving them. I just threw them out last week. The
nice.
Star people told me, and this is for you guys too. They told me by keeping the CD case in the house, it was messing up my energetics and it wouldn't allow me into a higher frequency. So
Wow.
before we went through, the shift that happened 2 days ago, because there was some sort of portal and I was activated, my
Mhm.
channeling leveled up. Before that happened, I threw the CDs out, which is
Wow.
what they told me was keeping me down in a lower level.
Nice.
So-
Nice. Welcome, Sash. So right about songs, Danielle. Yeah, definitely. I
Excellent.
definitely feel all of that. Awesome, wonderful. Well, I don't know what else to say. I feel I do feel a little overwhelmed.
Okay. That's okay. It's okay. So there is a form of light linguistics that has been transferred into the video. And so that feeling of overwhelm shall pass. Please, dear ones, ever so gently, just drink tons of water and allow the star people to do one final recalibration to this video to allow it to be sealed with love and light. So everybody, just take a nice deep breath in. And the star people are now closing conduit. Many, many love and blessings, and have a great night.
Awesome. We'll see you soon, Danielle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Everybody-
next week.
We'll see you
Yes.
guys next week. Take care.
Bye.